It's lights out, everybody, and welcome back to the Low Downforce podcast, the Forefront Formula One podcast. It is still a trio, though we are still missing Matt. He will be back very soon, but we have J9, we have Josh, and you have myself, Ben, to get you ready for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Can it be worse than the Belgian Grand Prix? Probably not. That was pretty boring, but Hungarian Grand Prix.
If it is worse, I've got some serious concerns.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, but we'll find out. It is the last race before the summer break. So regardless, enjoy it as much as you can. It's the only F1 we're going to be getting for a little bit, unless we get some Big Max Verstappen drama or something like that over the summer break. But, of course, the Hungarian Grand Prix is at the Hungaroring for officially the Formula One Lenovo Hungarian Grand Prix. And even though it was already decided, Pirelli was like, nah, that non-consecutive tire thing didn't work, so we're going back to the C5 softs, the C4 mediums, and the C3 hards. So much faster tires than we've seen in recent weeks. Maybe that will lead to some interesting strategy. I'm ready. We're going to go right into it. I am honorary Matt this episode for Matt's Track Facts. I haven't done one of these this year, so hopefully I can do him justice. I know he's listening. So this one's for you, Matt. Hungaroring, as I mentioned, it's been around since 1986, but it is still quite a unique old-timey circuit. Not a lot of straights, 3 hairpins. So a lot of people refer to it as Formula One's karting track. We'll even see, because of the lack of straights, some teams will run downforce setups as high as Monaco. So that's to give you an idea of what we've got going on. There are 2 DRS zones on the start-finish straight, of course, and right after turn 1. So a little bit like Austria, we have back-to-back overtaking opportunities. There's only 1 DRS detection zone as well. So if you get past on the main straight, you are off into the distance by the time you hit turn 2. And the drivers will be doing it for 70 laps around this 4.381 kilometer circuit. That's a total of 306.63 kilometers, of course, meeting that 300 kilometer threshold that we always see in Formula One. It is a natural bowl, the site where the Hungaroring was built. And what that means is a lot of elevation change. 34 meters, 112 feet is the equivalent. Sounds a lot more impressive when you put it that way. But significant elevation change, and it really benefits the people who are sitting on the main straight, because not only can they see the pits, the garages, the start finish, they can also see other parts of the track, similar to what we see later in the year in Brazil at Interlagos, where that huge elevation change makes the track really dynamic. I think I was actually the one who talked about it last year. If you go all the way back and listen to our Hungarian preview last year, see how much we've improved this year. But there have been a couple series of renovations, mostly because of flooding. I mentioned a natural bowl. Water kind of sits there, but spoiler alert, there is no rain predicted in the forecast as of yet. Maybe that will change, but one of the renovations extended the start-finish straight, so overtaking gets promoted a little bit more. And one person who's great at overtaking, but not always, because sometimes he just starts on pole a ton, is Sir Lewis Hamilton. He is beyond a maestro here. He has 8 wins, double the second place, which is Michael Schumacher, who only has 4. And of course, to go along with that, Lewis Hamilton holds the fastest lap, which he set in 2020 with a 1 minute, 16.672 second lap around the Hungaroring. But there's also a lot of new excitement. I'm going to kick it to J9 with our race rewind from last year, because we saw a debut F1 winner in Oscar Piastri last season. So let's pass it right on to you.
We did. It was a really exciting race for Piastri. He started off not in pole. Norris had gotten pole. And right at turn 1, he was able to really have a good drive and try to overtake. Later in the race, it was very contentious. I think that you had a lot of a lot of speed from Piastri, a lot of speed from Norris, and Hamilton as well. It actually wound up being Hamilton's 200th podium finish, and so that was really exciting. Norris and Piastri again had 1 and 2. It was one of their first 1-2s since 2021. So that was really exciting for McLaren. And I think this time last year was definitely the time that we really took that shift towards McLaren, and we were really feeling that 1-2. It really just kind of, I think, defined the end of last season, and of course this season as their dominant time. So this was really an interesting race last year. I think that I am predicting this year the situation last year of Norris and Piastri having different tire strategies and how they pit and who goes first and when and what's happening. We've seen that a lot this year, and it's always just a little bit interesting. They always take a different strategy, and they have separate people who are deciding that for them. And I always like that within a team because it still feels like a competition. So we're definitely going to see that here. That was one of the reasons last year why Norris wasn't able to take the win from Piastri. But overall, nothing too crazy happened last year. So I'm hoping that this year is a lot more exciting, and we're gonna see some DNFs, a lot of overtakes, and it'll be a good race.
I would say it was definitely the radio waves that were the most chaotic last year, and boy, did it make me uncomfy as a McLaren fan, especially a Lando fan.
Oh yeah.
But I have no doubt that the McLarens are going to be neck and neck again. You mentioned the 1-2s with the 1-2 finish at the Belgian Grand Prix this past race. McLaren has 6 1-2s on the year, which is the most they've had in a season since Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, two of the legends of Formula One, had 10 in one season. Obviously, there are more races now, but with everything McLaren's doing, we're talking about it, they are very much on to 1-2 most of the way out through the season. But who is the 1 and who is the 2 obviously makes all of the difference. All of the difference in the Predictors Championship, though, it is heating up a little bit. We just made the turn at the halfway point of the season, and things are looking spicy yet again. Josh, how is it looking?
I'm still out in the lead with 29 points, but Matt, after a stunning Belgian Grand Prix, just behind me with 24, J9 behind with 21, and Ben lagging back but making up ground with 17. Like you said, we have half of the season left, and the Hungarian Grand Prix, last chance before summer break to get some good points.
Which means it's our last chance to make predictions before we catch our breath, we revamp, and we go again a month from now. So to get right into it, we always go chronologically, which means first up is who do we have on pole position? It's not a sprint race, so there's only one qualifying session on Saturday. J9, who is taking pole position in Hungary this weekend?
This is a hard one because I kind of keep flipping back and forth between Piastri and Norris. I think I'm going to go Norris this time. I think, I don't know. I think Piastri won last time, so I feel like Norris is going to have it in him this time and try to take it. So
yeah, I typically try to play the flip flop game. Actually, I am playing the flip flop game. I'm doing it in my predictions and not in what actually happened because I predicted Norris, but Piastri got on pole in the sprint. I guess not in the race. I'm predicting Piastri. Matt is also predicting Piastri.
That makes 3 of us then. I am predicting Oscar Piastri.
just got to
J9,
be different.
you hinted at. I mean, if
Why
last
not?
year says anything, Lando did take pole last year. But I think Oscar remembers this place, even with all the chaos, fondly as his first F1 win. But he is a different animal this year. He is taking no prisoners, and I expect that to continue after extending his championship lead. But pole position only gets you so far, but who will shine on Sunday when it matters during the Grand Prix. Starting with third place, I have gone Lewis Hamilton. I've talked about him a lot this race, obviously giving the track facts, and he's really dominant here. But I remember Josh laughing at Matt and I for saying Charles Leclerc would get P3 in Belgium.
I did
And
do
he
that.
did.
You did?
We saw Lewis Hamilton qualified poorly, but made up 11 spots during the race. Ferrari's upgrades could be working. And are you going to go against the dude who's won more than anybody else around this circuit?
I'm not, because I have also predicted him for P3 and his first podium with Ferrari. I saw a stat: if he fails to finish on the podium in his next 3 races, he will become the Ferrari driver with the most races who have never finished on the podium for Ferrari. So
Wow.
I don't think that'll happen. I think he'll do it in the next 3 races. I think he's doing it in the next 1 races.
Really want to say.
Yeah, who do you have
Matt.
before I'll do
Matt
Matt's?
also? Okay.
No, Matt has Verstappen.
I also have Verstappen. I really want to say Hamilton. You know I want to, but I can't this year. It's really sad, and I can't. I hope I'm wrong, honestly, but I'm going Verstappen at 3.
And now, second place, Josh.
Now we play the game of everyone shout out McLaren drivers, because the top 2, everyone's picking McLaren.
I feel like at this point, we just talked about 6-1-2s this year. It would almost be crazy not to.
Yeah, both Matt and I have both gone for Norris P2, Piastri P1. And all of you guys are going to say the same thing, or maybe flipped.
I'm not making up a lot of points this weekend, because I also went Lando Norris P2, Oscar Piastri P1. I think he's converting the pole position into the victory.
I'm the same way.
Oh, so you have Norris dropping off of pole.
I do. I have Piastri again this year. Yep. I think he's I think he's better than Norris. I like him better than Norris. Maybe I'm a Norris hater. I am a Norris hater. I like Piastri a lot better.
Okay, that was very not diverse, but one thing that usually brings us back in, has a little bit more discussion involved, is the final point prediction. That's right. Who is going to finish P10 and either salvage a point or snatch a point? It could mean very different things to very different drivers. J9, who do you have taking 1 point?
I hate to say this, but I think it's going to be Kimi. I think mentally he has to get back on track. And I know that he's been really struggling lately. A lot of drivers have tried to help him out. I think that he's going to continue to struggle, but maybe this is a little bit of a turnaround for him. He'll get a point. And then hopefully after the summer break, he comes back and we see the Kimi Antonelli who started the season doing so well. So I'm going to give Kimi the point right before the summer break.
I am going to go with Ollie Behrman. We talked about how he is struggling to get into the top 10 because he's been stuck in P11 for the last few races. But I think he's going to get it done and snatch a point, as you said, Ben, instead of salvaging. And Matt has also gone with a guy who's kind of struggled. He's kind of inconsistent in Lance Stroll. So I feel like he hasn't had very many good races recently, but he hasn't snagging a point here.
Josh, you have been balling out in the Predictors Championship this year on the top step, which makes me feel better about my P10 prediction, because I also went for Ollie Behrman. I know we just said, he needs to find his form, but he hasn't been that far off. This isn't a Yuki Tsunoda where a lot of the times he's finishing bottom 5, or Colapinto, who's never really near the points. We were just talking about, go check out our Belgian Grand Prix review, that Ollie Behrman is now on a consecutive streak for P11s in Grand Prix. So we only need him, Josh, to make up one more spot, and then we are in the money.
I don't know. I feel like I have my money on him getting 11th again.
So, Ben,
maybe
you and
12.
I have gone for all identical picks. Matt, his only difference between us is P10. So we need some differentiation and some hot takes here.
They better be spicy. I'll tell you that. Of course, it is our spicy hot takes. 3 times the points, 3 times the chaos. Hopefully, we need a little bit of it. But that's right. We always cap it off with our boldest predictions. J9, I always kick it to you first for this category.
I actually, y'all had Hamilton up in 3rd. I don't have him as high, but I do still have him slightly high. And so this gives me the chance here, hopefully, to make up some points in the Predictors Championship. I'm actually going to say that I think Ferrari's going to do well in this race. And so my prediction is that both of them are top 5. I think this is going to be a strong contender for them. Hamilton's just so strong here, and I think Leclerc's coming off a really good third place podium win. And so I think Josh, I think with some of their recent upgrades, I think it's going to be a good race. I'm excited.
You've propped up a team. I'm putting down a team.
Damn.
I talked about there being no rain on the forecast. There's no rain because it's about to be hot as shit in Hungary. And
I
what
saw
that
some
means,
rain. I saw some. Last I saw it, 72%
we'll compare
chance
data
of rain.
later. But what I was looking at is that it is going to be near 30 degrees Celsius air temperature, track temperature, even higher, which is bad news for Mercedes. So I have no Mercedes in the top 6 of either qualifying or the race. So don't expect them in the top 3 rows in either of the competitive sessions this weekend.
I have gone for Mercedes not finishing in the top 6 because of the heat. No, I'm kidding. I'm stealing yours just because we have identical.
Oh,
I'm
man.
kidding.
That would have been brutal. You had me there. If you go watch the video of this episode on YouTube, you will see me being a little frustrated at Josh right there.
No, I have gone for the gap between the McLarens and the third place car, because I'm just assuming that the McLarens are going to 1-2 here, is less than 10 seconds. If you go back to all the last races, hold on, I got to pull up the data. I can do it. But basically, they win every race by like 20 points, 20 seconds or more. So,
why do you think it's going to be close? Do you have any reasoning for that?
I'm just kind of hoping for a late safety car or something.
So this also, I guess, then requires it to be a McLaren 1-2, right? So that's like built into your spicy hot take.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was a 17-second gap in Belgium. If we go back to the prior 1-2 at the British Grand Prix, it was a 28-second gap to Nico Hulkenberg. If we go to Austria, it was like a 17-second gap to third. So we're going sub 10 seconds here. I could go back and do the Spanish, Miami, and Chinese, but it's too hard to click through it all.
Well,
so that's
J9, you said, wow, McLaren do have 3 consecutive 1-2s going right now.
I know. I guess I'm hoping that is broken here, because we do have some one-off races where like random people win and you're like, what? I didn't predict that. I mean, that could be the case here, that it's not a McLaren 1-2 and we're all incorrect. And
I also hope
it's
you're right.
Albon's first win.
I hope that would be so sick. I also hope you're right about Ferrari, because a lot of the talk last year was 7 different winners, 4 different teams. This year, everybody expected to be just as great. It's very exciting in a very different way, because we've got some incredible
maybe as a McLaren team.
For sure, but at least we have a team allowing their 2 drivers to fight for the championship, as opposed to Red Bull letting just Max Verstappen run away with it. But if Ferrari does get their shit together, if these upgrades do figure it out, and we wind up before the end of the season with Leclerc and Hamilton wins, that brings the different driver win total up to 6. We've already gotten a Nico Hulkenberg podium. We've gotten some other great midfield top 5. So Ferrari manifesting. Just not Mercedes this weekend, because I want them to do absolutely terribly. But there's one hot take left.
Yeah, Matt has gone for Franco Colapinto scores his first points of the season and more than one. So he says Colapinto 9th or better, which would be crazy because Colapinto has stunk and Alpine has kind of bold stunk.
Because there's nothing that makes me. I mean, the way Alpine is going, I don't think Colapinto is going to score points all season.
No, I don't think
Maybe
so.
That's very pessimistic.
Maybe he'll sneak into a 10th.
Does that vindicate Jack Doohan at all? Who will finish tied on points with Franco Colapinto?
Well, I don't think Franco's making it to the end of the season. I think Jack will get put back in. But we'll save that.
We'll save it.
Summer break.
We'll save it. Josh always says save it for the pod when we're chatting right before.
We will save it
for a future pod. We're going to be a little starved for Formula One content. Hopefully not, but probably over the summer break. So who knows? Maybe Alpine will throw us a bone and we'll get another driver switch up. But that rounds out our predictions. It is going to be a great race weekend right before the summer break. We keep mentioning it, but you will absolutely want to tune in to this one. The drivers will want to turn in where they're supposed to.
I mean, maybe you're going to want to turn in.
Maybe.
Hungary.
Don't watch the race while you drive, though. So don't be turning in while they're turning in. So
Good point.
As per, qualifying stays at 10 a.m. on Saturday, but 1 hour earlier, it is a 9 a.m. Grand Prix on Sunday. Of course, these are Eastern times in the United States, which, if you are in the United States, ESPN carries the races. There are increasing rumors that ESPN will not be covering the races next year. It seems likely that it will go to Apple TV, as many of you know, subscription service. So if you want to catch all the Formula One you love for free, be sure to check out these races, these qualifying sessions on ESPN, and we will catch up after the Hungarian Grand Prix. We will send you into the summer break with another review episode to break everything down that happened this weekend. Hopefully it's more than Belgium, because we need a banger. But until then, everybody, stay speedy. Goodbye.